grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, crisscross applesauce, sit on down, because we're about to get into it. Hey guys, it is Chelsea Curran and welcome to another video. Earlier this week I did a video which was kind of like a sit-down story time talking very personal things about myself, and there were tears involved, and it was kind of very awkward and uncomfortable for me, as probably isn't much as it was for you, but I like the idea of doing story time videos. If you did watch that video, you would know I like telling stories, so we're gonna kind of maybe do some of these more often, these story time videos, because I enjoy doing it, and I've got a lot of stories to tell, and this one in particular is about the most awkward first date I have ever been on in my entire life. Not that I've been on a lot of first dates, because I don't have a very long dating track record at all, I just don't, but this one was especially uncomfortable for me. If you want to hear the story, well, keep on watching. Subscribe to Cat Country. I post videos here pretty much every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, or something along those lines. Like this video, comment down below your cringiest first date story, and hit the notification bell. And let me talk about this. So I debated for a while if I wanted to tell this story, because I kind of felt bad. Like, part of me felt guilty, but I'm not gonna name names, and it was so long ago, and I have nothing to do with this person anymore. And I'm gonna probably say this kid a lot, because when I talk about guys, it doesn't matter how old they are. They could be very much older than me, or very much younger than me, or the same age as me, or I could have been a kid talking about this story, or like now talking about this story. I'm always gonna reference guys as this kid. Just what I do. So this kid we're gonna talk about, again, I debated talking about it, kind of felt a little bad, but then again, I didn't, because in my job, we do tell a lot of personal stories, and that's just how it works. Plus, again, I have nothing to do with this guy at all anymore. I haven't talked to him probably since this occurred, or a little while after, and this is going back like 8-9 years, so I think we are in the clear. But let me take you on a tale right now. I knew this kid in college, and we were in theater together. I don't know if that gives up a lot of information, but I was in theater with this kid, and he had asked me out on a date. Now, at this point, I was very much single. Well, I shouldn't say very much single. I was at the point where I was getting into talking to this guy who I then would have had a long-term relationship with. So this guy probably didn't stand a chance no matter what happened. But he really, like, not a chance in HE double hockey sticks after what happened on this date. Cause, whew, it's a doozy. So like I said, this guy asked me out. I said yes, because why not? Again, I didn't have much of a dating life in high school. I only had 2 boyfriends throughout high school, and they were very much both short-lived relationships, one of which, my first boyfriend, was a long-distance relationship. Maybe we'll tell that story another day. But anyway, so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go out with you. So it was really nice. He did come to the door and, you know, met my parents, which I don't know if I thought was weird or cute or whatever, but he came to the door. We went out. We went out to eat, went to dinner, which is either at this point I had worked at the restaurant we went to, or was just about to work at the restaurant we went to, but either way, my best friend worked there, and I was, again, either I was working there at the time or was about to work there at the time. It was right on the cusp there. We went to dinner, lovely dinner. Things went well, it wasn't awkward, we had a good time, fine. We leave the restaurant. Now this is where things take a turn for the worse. He says to me that he had just recently put a lot of air in his tires, so he wanted to test them out. I don't know, at that point, well, I didn't know what that meant and what that entailed. I still don't know what that means. I don't know anybody that does this, but he went driving down a road. Now, this road, I honestly don't know which road we were on. I can't remember. I want to say I know in my head where we were, but it doesn't make sense that lines up with the rest of the story, so I very well could be wrong and don't remember it correctly. But we were on a road at some point where he took a very sharp turn. Now, he said he thinks he overfilled the tires, which is then what caused the issue that happened. We fishtailed out. Yes. He takes a turn so fast that the car whips the back end, and we fishtailed into the turn like we're drifting on a course. Now, I've been drifting, but with a professional, with a helmet and the straps and everything. That wasn't scary. And that was way worse. This, though, was terrifying. This should have been a huge red flag. I should have said, I want to go home right after this happened because I almost died. So then we are driving back towards my house, but again, taking roads that didn't make sense to get from the restaurant to my house. The restaurant is on a very busy main road, which you could have taken most of the way and onto another very busy main road to get to where my house is, but he didn't. He was taking back roads. He then says, oh, we should see if my grandma is home. His grandmother. First date, and he wants me to meet his grandmother. So he drives past his grandmother's house, which is in this neighborhood off of the main road that is from the restaurant to my house, and drives through it and drives past his grandmother's house. Thank the Lord Almighty that the lights were turned off, because I don't know what I would have done in that situation. Like, what do you do? Like, I have to go into this house of this stranger and meet your grandmother on a first date. Yes, we were kind of friends, this guy and I'd known him for a little bit now, but like not friends enough to meet your grandma. It just was weird. So he drove me past his grandmother's house. Again, thank goodness she was asleep. Thank goodness. I think of this quite often, and all I think to myself is, thank goodness she was asleep. So he says, oh, that kind of sucks. She's asleep. But so he really was planning on taking me in to his grandmother's house and meeting his grandma on a first date. That was his plan. Okay. So I was like, all right, whatever. I don't know. Maybe he just feels uncomfortable. I don't know. I was trying to make up excuses in my head as to why this wasn't that weird. But in my head, it's screaming, no, dude, like this is weird. This is super weird. He then takes another couple of weird turns, and we end up in the downtown area of the town I grew up in, and I was, okay, whatever, there's like water, and it's nice there, maybe it's just trying to be cute and romantic, but in my head, it's still very much weird. He then proceeds to pull into a hotel, which is now getting closed down, because it's a very, very, very sketchy hotel. Like, it was hella sketchy. There was a lot of drug problems there and other issues there as well, and they shut down the hotel recently and are tearing it down, but he pulls into this parking lot. Now I am very uncomfortable. I am extremely uncomfortable in this situation. He pulls up in the back of the parking lot facing the water, and again, I think he didn't realize how weird it was. I really think he just thought he was being cute and we were gonna sit by the water and just stare at the water and talk and whatever. And he kept trying to hold my hand. Now, I wasn't, at this point now, I'm kind of over the whole situation. So I didn't want to hold his hand. So I kept trying to like sneak my hand away every time he tried to hold it. And I was trying to be nice. And I kept saying over and over again that I wasn't feeling well. I was like, oh, you know, I think something I ate, it's not settling well. I don't feel well. And I kept trying to get out of this date without saying, like, I'm feeling really uncomfortable. I gotta go. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like this. I don't want to date you. I don't want to go out with you ever again. And I was trying to be nice by saying, like, I don't feel well. And it wasn't sinking in. I probably said it about 10 times before he was like, okay, yeah, I'll take you home. Now, of course, he tried to go in for the kiss at the very end of the date, which I definitely denied and rejected. I just wasn't. I was done. I was over it. I wanted to go home. I was so uncomfortable and it was just so awkward and I just wanted to be home. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not good at the dating thing at that point in my life. I'd only dated 2 guys before that. Well, actually take that back. I didn't just date 2 guys before that. As I'm thinking about it now, I did 2 serious boyfriends and then dated a few guys, but like nothing serious in between that point and this point. But anyway, regardless, I'm an awkward person sometimes, so I felt weird, so I just didn't talk to him. Even though I knew I was gonna have to see him, I just didn't talk to him because I didn't know what to say. He then proceeds to talk to a friend of mine after this whole scenario, yelling at her to get her to tell me to talk to him. Yelling, freaking out like a maniac is how this story was then portrayed back to me. And she says to him, if she doesn't want to talk to you, she is not going to talk to you. Which I didn't. I think like at some point, at theater, we had like pleasantry conversations. But after that point, we didn't talk. There was no texting involved. There was no phone calls, nothing at all, because I was like over it. Again, could I have been the mature adult and said, hey, I'm not really into you. I don't want to date you. But I think at this point I was a freshman in college, so let's be real. I wasn't a mature adult yet, so I'm going to give myself a pass. Also, it was a very uncomfortable date, and I did not at that point know how to handle that kind of situation, so it just wasn't going to happen. So yeah, most awkward date I have ever been on, almost dying and getting driven past his grandmother's house and sitting in a sketchy hotel parking lot. That's my story. What is your most awkward first date ever? Comment it down below. Don't forget to subscribe to Cat Country 107.3. Hit that little notification bell. Give this video a like. And I will see you back here in my next video. Bye, guys.